Hey everybody, welcome back to CALLOUS Draft Duel. So let me address something that is bugging me right out the gate. Left-hand side of the screen, you can see a little bit of blue here. That is not me being an idiot and not knowing how to outline the replay. I haven't narrated in a while, not a replay anyway. And since they switched over to the replays just being right here on this page of Showdown, apparently, they don't all line up perfectly. Some of them are a little bit more to the right or a little bit more to the left than others. So if I make one perfect box around one replay, and then I go to the next replay, part of it can be cut off. So that's really, really lame. And if I'm going to do things all in one video, which is definitely preferable because I'm not really a video editing kind of guy, and you guys don't want spoilers by me doing them one at a time, then I guess we're going to have to do it this way. But it's real obnoxious, and they really should all line up in the same place. I hope they fix that. With that little rant out of the way, we're going to get into some actual games, and I'm only covering the games of people who I've covered the draft. So if you're seeing this, then the draft is available for you to check out. There is a link in the description of this draft. I thought this was one of the more interesting ones. TeamCaptain and Zokuru. These guys went totally opposite with their approach. TeamCaptain drafted three very aggressive, in-your-face teams, including, I remember, Ninjask with Hariyama and Marowak, so he's got some auto-win combos in the back. Zokuru, well, he's Zokuru. He drafted at least two stall teams. He's got both Chansey and Blissey. He somehow also managed to get Tyranitar. He's got Claydol. He's got Tentacruel. Stall for days. I think he took Fortress really early. So we have a clash of styles here. Like I said, one very, very aggressive drafter where I think all three teams are going to be really aggro, and Zoc, I think, has two at least complete stall teams. And we'll see how that plays out. But like I said, not going to get into the specifics. We have a whole video dedicated to that. Check out in the description if you want to see the video in which I covered their draft. So round of 32, CALLOUS Draft Duel. This is round one of a single elimination tournament. I haven't narrated a game in many, many months. Let's see if I still know how to do this. TeamCaptain, bottom side, Zokuru on the top. One thing I remember is that Moltres is good against Fortress. How about that? Does in fact have that fire weakness. So he's going to Will-O-Wisp rather than just Flamethrower him, which makes sense to me, trying to catch something on the switch, which he does, but it's something with natural cure. Like we discussed, Zokuru drafted both Chansey and Blissey, so that's why if you're seeing Chansey and you're like, why doesn't he have Blissey? He does. Probably not on this team, but he's got them both. Here is Tentacruel coming in. Interesting that he has, I mean, half the point of picking Tentacruel, right, is that it's a rapid spinner, but he's got both the Fori and the Tentacruel on the same team doubling up on spinners, which is weird. And in comes Crobat, eating a Spore. It is generally a fighting type counter, but perhaps not so much while it's asleep, which makes it a little bit weird. And this team, unsurprisingly, like I said, I think Zoc is actually going to have two of these, is just full-on, complete, do-nothing stall, as it seems. And no Ghost on the other end, so Rapid Spin does happen, but it's going to result in a trade via Boom, and Tentacruel and Cloyster are no more. But I don't know if that's actually good for TeamCaptain, because now can't Zoc just set up a bazillion spikes with Fori, and now TeamCaptain, I don't remember his exact draft, but I mean, he doesn't have another spinner in the back, right? I mean, isn't he going to have to play the rest of this game with potentially multiple layers of spikes? Time will tell. See if we can get any damage done with Breloom here. There is a fighting immune on the other side in the Sableye, so I don't know that it can go too far. Yeah, we've seen the full set, and we already know that it does not have a non-fighting attack, unless you want to count Leech Seed. And it's interesting that despite the presence of Substitute, he's opting for Sky Attack rather than Focus Punch, which I don't think is inherently wrong. It's a trade-off. It makes it so if you need to just attack something, regardless of whether or not they can attack you, you can just do that by clicking Sky Attack, so that obviously comes up in various situations. But the trade-off is when you are safely behind the sub, or when you do successfully predict a switch, obviously, Focus Punch, more desirable in that situation since it just does that much more damage. And we can see the difference here. Sky Attack 33% to Fori. I think Focus Punch would do upwards of 50%. So you do definitely notice the the lesser base power of the move in instances like this. But like I said, I think the Sableye, I mean, yeah, Leech Seed is annoying, but short of that, I think the Sableye is pretty safe against the Breloom. But Team Cap hasn't even revealed half his team, whereas Zokuru has shown all the Mons. So going through the motions here, but I don't know. It's very hard to know without knowing what Team Cap has in the back. As it stands, Zokuru's got a couple of his things beaten up. Like right there, for example, had Team Cap clicked the Sky Uppercut, he would have actually killed the Fortress there. But instead, he opted for a sub as Fori came in, so Zoc was pretty ballsy to make that prediction, and as such, he just got some lefties on Fori, but risked completely losing it in the process. Though he does have that one spike down already that I don't think Captain can remove, even if something were to go wrong and the Fori were to go down. Knockoff there, which does in fact get protected against, but it does not get safeguarded against. Safeguard only blocking status, so that knockoff is going to happen. And Moltres is without his lefties as we view the full set here. Will-O-Wisp, Safeguard, Flamethrower, Morning Sun. Safeguard's interesting, kind of techy. Not sure exactly who he's trying to protect there. It might just be a general thing rather than trying to protect any specific Mon. Chansey is certainly, I mean, it's going to wall Moltres in general all day, but we know the full set of this Moltres here, and I mean, granted, the Moltres can try to stall out the Chansey, especially with Morning Sun. Chansey couldn't T-Wave it or Toxic it or whatever because of Safeguard, but I think ultimately Chansey is going to be totally fine here. The PP of Soft Boiled is just so much greater than the PP of Morning Sun, and also Moltres doesn't have leftovers, so I think if they play this out, and I hope they don't for the sake of a remotely timely narration, but if they go through the full motions and go down to PP with these two Mons, I believe Chansey ultimately is going to be the winner in this 1v1. S-Toss is underwhelming at 26%, but as Zokuru well knows, well, there's an opportunity there, but I was going to say Zokuru knows that Chansey's in no real danger here. Certainly one way to be in danger is an unexpected crit like that, and then Chansey on that turn had done something other than soft-boiled, such as S-Toss, but fortunately on the crit turn, Zokuru did go for soft-boiled, so crisis potentially averted there. Breloom sneaks in now on the Chansey, relatively safely on the S-Toss. Lefties takes it out of range of the follow-up S-Toss, so we know Breloom's safe, and we know it can just Sky Uppercut here, but the issue is, again, the Sableye is going to wall it all day. I really don't think the Breloom is going to get all that much done in the matchup. It only has fighting attacks, Crobat, a 4x fighting resist, and then Sableye an outright fighting immune. That's going to make it really tough, I think, for Breloom to have a meaningful impact, but despite that, and I'm not sure if he's got something spicy in the back or if he's just trying to drain as much PP as possible on the other side before revealing. But despite the fact that I think Breloom is not that exciting here and the fact that the Moltres is just completely walled by the Chansey, we are 58 turns in and counting, and Team Cap has still not revealed another Mon. He still has half of his team in the back. So there comes Flamethrower again. Do a quick check here. Softboiled still has 8 of them, whereas Morning Sun, Moltres here for Team Cap is down to just 3 of them. And Crobat actually has Sleep Talk, so I would assume it has Rest, but it was put to sleep by the Spore from Breloom, and is now taking advantage of that on its own. Finally, a new poke shown from Team Cap. Took us 60 plus turns to get there, but it is Miltank, which should be relatively safe here against the Sableye, though of course knockoff would be annoying. S-Toss there must just be an over-prediction, but so is Shadow Ball, both of them opting for moves that the other is outright immune to. Miltank may not have a choice, it looks like. I guess he's just trying to Toxic Stall him out for lack of anything better to do, and Seismic Toss would be the move rather than Toxic on a switch like this against Crobat, so S-Toss it is, but unsurprisingly, on a full stall team from Zokuru, it looks like the Crobat is probably close to max HP, which is why that S-Toss did so little. And more switching. This one might be a grind. I mean, it feels to me like normal speed. Maybe it's because I'm a little rusty as a narrator here, but it feels like normal is moving pretty quickly. It feels like normal is what fast used to be, but who knows? Maybe it just has always been this way, and I'm just not as sharp as I used to be. I'm not clear. But we're moving quite along for what is a 73 turn game. I feel like if I put that on slow, or if I did that old school style, that it would have taken a lot longer to get 75 turns in, but I think I'm okay having this game on normal because it's looking like it could easily go 100 plus turns here. I hope that isn't the case, but that looks to be where we're going. We haven't even seen two pokes from Team Cap yet. As far as actual win conditions, I mean, Zoc has the spike, but I don't know. Chansey isn't going to win. Crobat is not a choice bander, clearly. Sableye, not really a win condition. And yeah, it's full defensive Flygon as well. He does have multiple Toxics, Zokuru does, but Miltank, even though it hasn't shown it yet, probably has Heal Bell. I don't know. I mean, Zoc's team, full stall is kind of his thing, but kind of feels overly do nothing in my view. Like I said, he does have the one spike. I don't know if that's enough in what is going to be a sandless game. T-Tar was drafted in this draft by Zokuru, but obviously, having revealed his entire team, we know he doesn't have that in this game. Yeah, just a lot of switching. I don't know if that one spike is going to be enough. As far as PP is concerned, Team Cap has a pressure mon, Zoc does not. And then we're obviously even at 5 a pop since Explosion was just a trade all those turns ago. Moltres will run out of Morning Sun sooner rather than later. In fact, I believe, yeah, that was the last one. So Team Cap at some point is going to have to show a new mon and get something going here because Moltres does not have any way to recover anymore. It doesn't have leftovers. It doesn't have Morning Sun. Maybe there's Wish in the back, but as it stands, the Moltres not going to get any healthier than it is right now. Little lefty's back for Flygon. Pulls it back. And it is just Flamethrower again. I think he was afraid of Will-O-Wisp, which is a justified fear. Though the Chansey this whole time, even though I feel like it's been in for a bazillion turns, has only shown Seismic Toss and Soft Boiled. So we still don't actually know whether it has Heal Bell or Aromatherapy, which it very well may. Could be as simple as like T-Wave Heal Bell in the back, for example. Chansey is not as hot using like Ice Beam or Thunderbolt or whatever as Blissey is. Its special attack stat, not so exciting. Blissey's isn't great, but it's like usable. Chansey's is pretty damn bad. But yeah, I mean, the way that they're playing this, like I said, the Breloom is not going to win against the Crobat and the Sableye, and then the Moltres, slowly but surely, is going down. And we do know the full set now. It has neither T-Wave nor Heal Bell or Aromatherapy. It's counter-toxic as the full set. And that's going to prompt Team Cap finally to show something new. He's got a DDer in the back, DD Dragonite to be specific. He's got the Safeguard helping him out for one turn only. And Knockoff is going to remove lefties, but does that get Zokuru out of the woods? He loses his Sableye here. Now Flygon is going to try to deal with the Dragonite, and he does eat the +1 hidden power. Toxic there, shouldn't have missed. Devastating, but it does connect. And protected hidden power again, so Zokuru is going to be resigned to trying to Toxic stall him out here with the help of some protects, and he's going to sacrifice Fortress for the cause. Obvious protect turn for Zokuru. We'll see if he goes for another sacrifice or if he's going to coin flip the protect here. Does opt for the coin flip and does win the coin flip. So that'll help. Does he now go for 25% protect or switch? Going to go for the old 25er and does not get that one. And the Dragonite does succumb to the Toxic, but major damage done. Zokuru down to only Crobat and Chansey, which are obviously not win conditions. However, he does still have the spike, so there's that. Flamethrower comes down. And here is the Crobat switch. Safeguard, why not? Lack of anything better to do. And Whirlwind, and we do finally see the last poke. And that's just going to prompt the concession, simple as that. I don't know that the Medicham was the X factor in that concession or not. I think damn near anything would have done it there, but Medicham is going to be good enough, and they both go through the motions and show each other team, which is part of the rules if there's any unrevealeds, but in this case there are no unrevealed, so not going to be possible to be sneaky and reuse an unrevealed Mon, which is the whole point of the rule. And we're going to move on to Game 2 with TeamCaptain up in the lead. And we're just going to, for this next game, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on slow. And we'll see how I feel about that speed. If I feel it is too slow, I might move it over to normal midway through. But let's just see what we're working with here. So Game 2, TeamCaptain up a game. Zokuru on the top again. This feels significantly slower. I wish there was like a faster than slow and slower than normal, but alas, this is what we've got. Yeah, this is too slow. We're going to just move it over to normal. Thief came down, and he's going to steal a Lumberry. Zokuru must win 2 games in a row here, this game and a potential Game 3, or he will be eliminated. Remember, this is a single elimination tournament, and this is just the first round. Obviously, the amount of damage that Ice Beam did there is going to show that the Hariyama has guts rather than thick fat. And with a lot of speed, he's going to Rock Slide Wheezing, but he didn't get to Belly Drum or anything super cheesy, and Hayes is going to completely get rid of those speed buffs. Insult to injury, Rock Slide is now going to miss, and man, the damage is underwhelming at just 23%. Sludge Bomb takes the Wheezing out of here and leaves us in a 5-6 position with Zokuru in the lead. Spiderweb, just kidding, lays that down and gets out of the way. Psychic, and I guess Extreme Speed, knowing he's about to go down. And it does a ton because Alakazam's defense really is that bad. He does 71%, but Arcanine does indeed drop. And this game, unlike the first, is looking very much in Zokuru's favor pretty darn early on here. Ice Beam almost kills Smeargle, but it survives and is going to pop a Salic Berry, see what he can do with it. Spore, sure. Zam is going to briefly sleep, but then wake up. And he's going to go right back to sleep. Doesn't have 2 Lumberries. And he's going to put down a layer of spikes on the way out. Why not? Here comes the Zam again. Ooh, Memento. Okay, I mean, yeah, it's a sacrifice there. He could have put more spikes down, but he obviously thought the Ludicolo was going to stay in. So he DDs against a sleeping opponent who obviously switches out. That is Hidden Power Flying rather than Hidden Power Rock. So Regice is going to take it like a champ. Thunderbolt the one-hit KO. And that's going to prompt in Marowak, which seems to be the only way that he can maybe win this game. And I don't even know that he can survive an Ice Beam here. The answer turns out to be that he can't. And with that, I believe we're going to a Game 3. Yeah, fair enough. That takes any suspense out of it. Ice Beam there is simply a crit for the one-hit KO. In theory, Zapdos could have survived. Click Thunder Wave. Gotten lucky with full powers. Maybe hide behind a sub, whatever. It would have taken a massive sequence of things to go right for Zoc to have, or for TeamCaptain to have any chance at all in that game, if he had one at all. And yeah, the critical hit saves us any suspense there. This one-sided stomp, and these are all pokes, if you recall, in the draft that Zokuru picked up really, really late. I think in the 3rd round of drafting, all but like the Wheezing and the Regice maybe. But the Jinx, the Kingdra, the Alakazam, the Ludicolo, these were all very late picks, I believe. And he kind of threw together a special offense in the final stages of the draft, and that was the one team, that was the one point that looked like maybe it would be a little weaker. Maybe if he can get a win with this one, he's in good shape. The other 2 teams look good. I don't know about this one, so on and so forth. But yeah, it seems to have worked out. The stall team that he was probably planning on winning with, it did not go his way in Game 1. But in exchange, this team, kind of thrown together, clearly worked. He wins a one-sided affair. And we're going to go to Game 3, but I think something that is not immediately obvious without a visual of what Pokemon are still available for each player in Game 3 is just how much of an advantage Zokuru has, or a disadvantage on the other side, depending on how you want to look at it. Zokuru more or less has full OU still available here. He has a couple other pokes in the back because all the players are going to have 3 extra pokes that they don't use, but Zokuru could literally bring, in Game 3, T-Tar, Aerodactyl, Claydol, Skarmory, Blissey, Milotic. You heard that right. Skarmbliss, Tar Arrow, Milodol. A proper tournament OU team is an option for Zokuru in Game 3. And that really shows. I mean, he could have brought that in Game 2, because remember, he was down a game. If he loses this Game 2, it doesn't matter what he has in the back. He just loses. He's just out. So he has the discipline to bring this instead and save all that gas for Game 3. And yeah, I mean, having that team in the back, it is now going to be a tall task for TeamCaptain, who notably hasn't shown the Ninjask yet, but I mean, the Ninjask I think would have been on this team with the Hariyama and the Marowak, so I don't know that that's going to save him. But it's going to be a tall order now, I think, for TeamCaptain to win Game 3 against a pretty loaded, proper OU team that Zokuru is probably going to bring. So here's that third game. Team Cap on the bottom, third and final time. Good luck, dude. And Zoc on the top, leading T-Tar and setting Sand immediately. Protect? Sure, I don't... What was he afraid of from Missy? I guess just cheese guarding? No lefties from Hitmontop. Is this a choice bander? Oh yeah, it's got to be to do 40% with Brick Break against Skarm. So now that Zoc knows that he's locked on banned, fair enough. Hey, that's one way to lose. He stays in and spikes up, but if Hitmontop had crit Skarm and killed him there, I think that would have changed things in a dramatic way. Not that it makes it wrong for Zoc to stay in and spike, because what are the odds of a crit? But of note, Zoc did have a pretty safe switch there and just going to the Claydol, for example. So he chooses to stay in and risk it, and it might have been a massive throw had a crit come down, but it didn't. And there is the spike. Psychic here after Mean Look came down, but the critical thing is that we know that the doll has Shadow Ball. We already saw it. And there it is again. So don't know what the point of trapping that was when you were just going to get killed by Shadow Ball. We're nowhere close to the Parish Song ticking down. Claydol's not concerned. He's just going to stay in and hang out with Metagross here. And down it goes to damage rather than Parish Song. Fair enough. So 5-5, but it feels like things are already unraveling for TeamCaptain. Intimidate here, I guess. Not going to stay in. And high jump kick. It's interesting that he has both that and Brick Break. That much of a lack of things in Hitmontop's physical move pool, apparently. He could kill him with a crit here, which, or he could miss. Miss is bad. That's even worse. And then recover happens, and then Sand kills him. That's probably the worst possible sequence there, as far as TeamCaptain is concerned. Raikou, yeah, against an Aerodactyl on the other side, and a T-Tar, and probably a Bliss in the back. Well, he does crit Thunderbolt, so that's a good start. But Aerodactyl obviously is going to outspeed him and threaten EQ, and it's not a bluff. It is just normal old EQ. And switching into an Aerodactyl is Dugtrio. And Zokuru switched out, so is the bluff, is it that Dugtrio is Jolly and the Aerodactyl is Adamant? Is that why? Yeah, it's even weirder that he had a Swampert. He could have switched Swampert into Aerodactyl, but instead he went with Dugtrio. I guess it was just a bluff, but here we go. Lastmon Cursepert is going to be the attempt here. And Toxic is whatever. Cursepert can rest or refresh that away. Surf there, 24%. All right. Maybe Cursepert has a chance. Keeping in mind that Skarm cannot roar it away since it's the last poke. Gotta rest now if you have it, right? And the answer is yes. Yeah, hey, Cursepert could beat Milo Arrow Skarm here. So I guess it depends on the last Zoc, but if it is Blissey, then the Cursepert has a chance here. Could win. Which is kind of crazy, but I mean, yeah, Team Cap is going to have to do something like this in order to have a chance. That's curse number 4. Wow, this would be a massive upset if Team Cap manages to beat this loaded OU team from Zokuru. But like I said, I think the curse pert does beat... Oh, wow. Well, not that. It beats the 3 things that Zok had shown, but it does not beat Venusaur in the back. He does not even bring the Blissey. He goes for Venusaur instead. And good thing he did, really. I mean, that decision, whether it is dumb luck or whether that was just really, really heads up, that decision is going to actually win Zokuru the match, because if that Venusaur had been Blissey, which is what the vast majority of players would have done, and it would have just been pretty mindless and obvious to throw that there. It's just such an obvious thing to do. If it had been Blissey instead of Venusaur, I think Team Captain manages to win on the back of that curse pert. I think it had to be... He actually had Sceptile in the back as well, but it actually had to be Venusaur or Sceptile in this situation, or he would have been in trouble. So that was really something for Zok to not bring Blissey. The Venusaur, like I said, I don't know if that was just him trying to get cute, or just a really heads-up play, or just dumb luck, but the decision to bring Venusaur over Blissey is going to win Zokuru this match, so hats off, dude. Well done. And with that being said, it is a 2-1 match victory for Zokuru. He is our first player through, as far as YouTube is concerned, to the round of 16. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, in this opening round with 32 players and 16 matches, I'm just not going to be able to cover it all, but I'm hoping that as of the next round, certainly as of the top 8, but maybe as of the next round, I'm going to be able to cover everything, and therefore there's going to be a ton more content from this on YouTube. If you guys enjoy this tour at all, please do hit the thumbs up. We are taking donations and could certainly use a little bit of help with the prize pool if you guys are able to help. And yeah, you can join my Discord server via a link in the description. Appreciate you guys watching. I will see you in the next video.